Hey Jags, welcome to RidgeCast. This is Phoenix, the host for today for some reason. I don't know. Hope everyone's had a good week. It's been kind of weird. We've had testing all week. Hope sophomores have done well on their testing. We also got spring fling tickets on sale right now. They're $15. You can get them at the bookkeeper. And here's a video by Ryan and Jordy.
There we go.
Come on, Jordy.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend.
The mental health of high schoolers is often overlooked. They face so much pressure, whether it's school, sports, club activities, making plans for their future, or any other stress that they face. I think teachers and students can help each other, but first, we need to get inside the mind of a high school student.
What kind of pressures do you feel as a high school student?
That we're expected to know what we want to do after high school. We've been going to school for almost 18 years of our life, and as soon as we get out, we're supposed to know what we want to do for the rest of our lives. So that's a big thing.
What mental or emotional challenges have you faced in high school?
Especially with COVID in high school, I think a lot of people, including myself, just experienced anxiousness, loneliness, just from online school and not being able to be in person and socialize with our friends. And yeah, it's a big thing as well.
Do you think teachers do a good job communicating with their students and making school as stress-free as possible?
I don't believe so. Even if they try, there's a lot of things that even the teachers can't see, like home life, all that. It's just a lot of other underlying factors that some students, when they have work or school and they gotta balance that, it's a lot, especially for people who are already stressed out.
What are some ways you really stress?
I go to the gym, I go home, I play video games, watch sports, hang out with friends, and just decompressing at home, doing whatever I need to do to just relax. Yeah.
Thank you, Evan, for that thoughtful insight. Now, a handsome young man is going to go over some ways to relieve stress.
Alright, so here are some ways to relieve stress. First, we got listening to music. I think listening to music is a really good way to kind of escape from reality and kind of enter the world that the music creates for itself, Number two, we got finding different hobbies. So that could either be sports or painting or even making music or whatever other hobbies you enjoy. Just find different hobbies that you like to do and then do them. Alright, and the third one we got is hanging out with friends. Try to find people that you can be yourself around, that you can have fun with, and just enjoy your time with them. Then number four, we have alone time. Although it is nice to hang out with friends, sometimes you might just need some alone time to have your own thoughts. You could listen to music, you could, do whatever, but just sometimes you just need to be alone with your thoughts. Maybe not for too long, but that's just
I think it's about time we get a teacher's perspective on this all. Here's psychology teacher Mr. Muhlenbrook.
What are ways teachers can help students feel less pressure?
Well, Jordy, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So how do I think teachers can make students feel less pressure? I'll tell you that's a difficult one. I think that is one thing I've always described teaching as it's almost as though it's a lock with a combination that's ever changing. As adults and teachers, we kind of change in how we teach. At the same time, students are constantly changing as far as how students, different classrooms, different students as they come through our rooms throughout the years. And so that's probably a constant question. How do we make students not feel that pressure? For me, the biggest thing I try to do is the word that's always used is empathy. I try to put myself in the shoes of students. I know right now, like anything extra for me is hard. So when a student asks me, hey, can we do a letter of recommendation? Right now, that's really difficult because it's extra. It's an extra 30 minutes. And so one of the things that I keep reminding myself is with students are the things that I'm requiring students to do are those things extra. Because extra oftentimes translates into pressure on students to complete things when we all know we have other responsibilities. So trying to put myself into student shoes and really ask myself how important is the extra that I'm putting on students' plates for students to actually do or for them to know. And if I can find ways to communicate, to teach, to give students experiences in the classroom that aren't extra, then I think that's the best way I can help students not feel that pressure.
What are some things you do to relieve stress, and what would you suggest students do to relieve stress?
Sure. Well, I tell you, here's the number one thing. I would say that you don't know it now, but exercise. And I think just the chance to kind of get out and either do like a serious kind of a workout for like 30 minutes, 3 or 4 days a week. If that's not possible, then clearly just getting out and going for a walk. Something where something where our mind has a chance to just go and to think and to go and to explore without being manipulated by what we're looking at, either on television or on our phones or whatever it may be. So for me, I relieve stress by hopefully exercise. Another one is by getting enough sleep. Sometimes when we don't get enough sleep, our brains don't work as well as they should. They're not as efficient. And when our brains aren't efficient, then tasks seems more difficult. And when tasks are more difficult, it gives us this idea that things are harder, we have more to do, and a lot of times that adds to stress. So I'd say exercise is huge. Find a way to also kind of like just kind of free our minds is also kind of really important.
All right.
Yeah.
So lastly, I'd like to ask, do you think teachers are aware of how their students feel?
You know, that's a great question. I think probably I'm not in everyone's classrooms. I know that the pressures that students feel, that teachers also feel some of those pressures because we also have things that we need to accomplish or things that we're told that we need to do, whether that's from our own administration here or from even the district administration. So we also have to feel those pressures. And so, remember the question again? Do we understand what students? So, yeah, so I think as a teacher, I'm not always in other teachers' classrooms, so I don't always know how they are approaching students and what their awareness level is. I think that most teachers who are really good can just look out across the classroom and hopefully see whether or not students are smiling or whether or not you can actually visibly almost see the pressure that they feel. I think in general, I think we're getting better at it. We're getting better at understanding what students' needs are. We're probably as teachers also getting better at understanding what our own needs are. And I think both of those are part of that equation. So I don't know if I think we're getting there. We're understanding more and more what students' needs are. It's just that a lot of times that information isn't really accessible. It's more or less the conversations that you and I might have. So let me ask you this. Do you think your teachers understand the pressure that you have?
Yes and no, because a part of the pressures that we feel is because of like homework and stuff that teachers give us. But I think sometimes they could just never understand like what we're going through at our house or whatever. But I think it could also just depend for the teacher.
Sure.
Some teachers will understand more and be more open and
willing to help their students, and some teachers will kind of just ignore it and not pay attention and just do their schoolwork and teach their lesson.
Keep on going, right? Yeah. So there's actually a concept in psychology, and they actually call it the Teenage Fallacy. But basically, it's this idea that no one understands what you're going through. So a lot of times as humans, when we have things that are, whether it's when we feel like we're under pressure, under stress, or something happens to us, just as humans, we kind of think, well, no one even understands what I'm going through. But I think that the interesting part is we're all kind of going through things that are similar, that are different. So for me, just like you might be dealing with the stress of coming back to school after a pandemic, going on to college, I might have also stressors, but I had those stressors that you have when I was your age, but now I'm my age. And I still have some of those things, but they're just different now. So understand that maybe we're all together in our struggle to deal with the pressures or the stress of life is kind of good to understand. So hopefully, the more I'm aware of my own stress and my own kind of expectations, then maybe I can understand that probably other people, students, teachers that maybe have been teaching longer than I have, first-year teachers, we're all going through some of these pressures. We're just in different stages dealing with different pressures, but it's all pressure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So hopefully I can figure out a way to take my own experiences and understand students better.
Yeah. All right, thank you for your time.
Hey, you bet. Glad I could help out.
Yeah. All right.
Good? I did?
Perfect.
Although we may never find a solution to our problems, hopefully we can understand each other a little bit more and maybe want to understand each other a little bit more. This has been a Jordy and Ryan production.
But sometimes if you do it for oh, that's good.
Oh god, I turned around and looked right at you.
That was my biggest problem.
That was so bad, bro.
Oh, I told you to stop.
What happens if I don't get it first
No, I
try?
got an 8 on 4. We'll try again tomorrow.
Or next week.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
We'll try again Tuesday. I don't know.
Don't worry, we
We'll
good.
try again every day until it's due.
Exactly.
I mean, you could try.
Alright, here we go.
Okay, thank you for the videos, guys, and I hope you all have a good week, even better weekend. See you guys.